What is up, everybody? It is your boys back again with another episode of Franchise Tagged Fantasy Football Podcast. Please be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Really helps. Today, to give you a brief synopsis, we have overvalued, undervalued, or just right as far as fantasy players in their draft positions. So, what's going on, boys? I'm going to give some more nonsense so someone can hyperlink the non-nonsense in the bottom.
I think that you kind of skipped over, glazed over, and didn't say some important news from Franchise Tag themselves.
Oh,
We hit 4,000 watch hours like the other day. I refreshed it. I don't know what the exact time. I should be knowing those things, but YouTube doesn't give us that real update. But we hit 4,000 watch hours. Thank you guys for listening to our face holes make noise. I appreciate you.
You're the real heroes.
Yeah, the real ones. Brennan, do you have something?
I just want to say
add
thank you to my mom and dad for listening to the show.
Do they listen on Spotify too?
I don't know.
We haven't uploaded to Spotify in I don't know how long. Speaking of which, when season starts, guys, we will start uploading to Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes, it's great news. See, it all came full circle. That was my way of getting Aaron to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get it on Spotify now, guys."
Sorry,
was
guys.
my way.
Sorry, I've been slacking. But now with the good internet that Ray says sucks, everything goes in like 2 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Look at that.
So it's easier.
Look at that. Brennan,
Yes, sir.
do you have some news for the fine people?
I do. We have quite a bit of news, actually. So Isaiah Pacheco and Breece Hall are going to open up the season on the PUP list. So for those that are curious, yes, it's 6 games. That doesn't count towards the training camp. They can be on it but be taken off immediately and not affect their time played. So I think Isaiah Pacheco's was pretty known. He had a shoulder surgery. It lines up to 4 months. It's right at 4 months right at training camp. I don't think he's going to miss any time. Now, Breece Hall's a little more interesting with the torn ACL, and there's a little bit of rumors of Dalvin Cook going to the Jets. But as of right now, there's really not much to go off of.
Oh.
So, does this obviously this has to move the needle for Breece Hall for you? I kind of makes Isaiah Pacheco not really viable for any sort of like zero RB strategy, which he was looking like that was going to be. How does this move the needle for you guys?
Isaiah Pacheco will be off of the PUP in training camp where he's not going to miss any time.
Yeah.
That is my take on it. So where he's getting drafted right now will stay roughly the same.
If he falls, I would take advantage of it from this news because I don't think he's going to miss any time. This is expected. Everyone freaked out because they saw a PUP list. But when it comes to training camp time, they can be on and off of it really quickly. Breece Hall's a little more intriguing because obviously at the draft time, they were looking at Jahmyr Gibbs. They wanted somebody next to Breece Hall. And, they've been linked to Dalvin Cook, and, he's the betting favorite to go there. So it does make things a little more interesting with him potentially going there. But I'm kind of waiting this out. I haven't taken any Breece Hall in a lot of best ball. So I'm just kind of waiting this out to see what happens.
I'll tell you that from my end, and I think we've talked about it enough, really. I was assuming Breece Hall was going to miss some time at the beginning of the season anyway, just because I know that ACLs are becoming more and more, I guess, researched, and people are being able to come back faster from them. You're still talking about a human knee, so it'd be shocking to me if he was going to be playing week 1. That'd be stunning. But
to your point, just because our surgeries and recovery times getting better doesn't mean that they're back to full strength and full physical capability.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Because the coach Salah said that he topped it at 23 miles an hour today, which is great. I just want to see what he looks like cutting too, because that's the big part. So
straight line speed. If you're going running forward, you're fine. It's stopping. That's what is the whole, the mechanic of the ACL.
Other news: we have Leonard Fournette working out for the Pats. He just worked out with them, hasn't signed or anything. So again, I wouldn't be too worried if he signed there. I still believe in Ramondre as a top 10 talent. I think Ray has other opinions.
It's only because Lenny finds his way on the field when he shouldn't. Like, there's a better running back next to him, and Lenny just happens to be on the field. Why? I hate it.
I don't know. I went down on that ship last year, so I'm out on believing Leonard Fournette is anything of anything.
I don't think he's anything, really. Except for somebody that's going to take valuable work away from Ramondre if he signed there.
So let me ask you, Aaron, would you still draft Ramondre where he's going right now? You have no
I have
concern?
been not drafting Ramondre where he's going at all. I've been avoiding him because that's not part of the draft strategy that I'm trying to take.
Fair enough. But like if you had to take him where he's going, do you have no issues with it still?
I had to. No, yeah, I don't have any issues with it.
That's where I'm at. I don't have any issues where he's going. I think he's.
I mean, you saw it last year where he
outbeat Damian Harris for his job. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the man.
Yeah. For me, sorry. I lagged out for a second. For me, he's still in the same tier, but he moves to the bottom of that tier as where he was at the top of it. He moves to the bottom.
Okay, fair enough. Some mediocre news of the week. Denzel Mims was traded to the Lions for a 6th rounder in 2025. So
yeah, yay!
For me, this is kind of curious, just because like his quarterbacks have been awful, and he actually had pretty high draft. I think capital. I think he was a 2nd round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
so early 2nd.
Yeah, so I actually think this is somewhat interesting because I mean, Jameson Williams is going to be gone for 6 weeks, so there is going to be some sort of aspect where he can actually get on the field.
We got some hype news on just now live on Elijah Moore from the Browns. He'll be used as an outside, slot, and backfield player, giving the Browns tremendous flexibility to the position wherever they believe he'll have the best shot of creating an explosive play.
Sounds like he'll be on the field a lot.
Sounds like it.
I have a lot of shares of Elijah Moore in like the drafts that I've had.
Yes, same. He's a 11th to 12th round wide receiver right now that I'm willing to take that shot on.
Yeah, I mean, I view him as a better what Donovan Peoples-Jones was viable last season in multiple weeks, and I think Elijah Moore is better than Donovan Peoples-Jones. So
I agree. On to the bigger news of what's been going on. So obviously, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, and Tony Pollard did not sign an extension. Only Tony Pollard signed his franchise tag, and Josh Jacobs and Saquon have made it very clear that the franchise tag is not what they're going after or what they want to do. They literally waited till the last second. It was down to the wire. Saquon, I guess, was about $2 million apart, and Josh Jacobs was sitting in the Raiders parking lot with Max Crosby just waiting for the news, and it didn't happen. So for me in this, Tony Pollard's fine. I think he was going to sign the franchise tag regardless. It was good money for him for a good season he had. Now, Saquon's a little more interesting because he had that podcast where he talked about, do I hold out or do I play? Am I screwing over my teammates? For me, I don't think he holds out. I don't. I do not see him holding out. He's not that kind of character. Yep. I don't know about Josh Jacobs. I don't think Josh Jacobs holds out either, just because he's got a lot of kids. He's got 10 kids.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, dude, he's got a lot of kids.
Man, why couldn't the Giants just figure this out though? I don't get it. Like, he is so clearly the best piece of their offense by a mile. Go ahead, Aaron.
I agree. So Saquon wanted like 14 to 15 million when it first started. Saquon was willing to go down to 12 to 13 million to cut that off. The most the Giants would offer is 11 million, which is $700,000, $400,000 more than the franchise tag anyways. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you just go to 12 million, meet Saquon in the middle, and extend your running back for an extra $1 million for the next 2 years? Give him a 3-year deal with 2 years or whatever fully guaranteed, and the 3rd year being an out for the team.
Yeah, I think I told you guys this. I think it should have been 2.5 years guaranteed. To basically the 2 first years are fully guaranteed, and a little bit of the 3rd year is guaranteed. Some sort of aspect. We don't know what's exactly going on. It's back and forth. It's not 100% confirmed. They should have franchise tagged Daniel Jones. They should have not franchise tagged Saquon. They should have figured out a deal with him first.
So I have seen multiple TikToks about this, and again, that's where I get my news, right? That like a bunch of different things about Daniel Jones having taken this much money, and this is the reason why Saquon didn't get his contract, and they could have signed both of them, but I don't necessarily think that's like a nebulous situation. They could have paid both. They still think they could pay Saquon the amount that he deserves. I'd cut some random guy from on the bottom of your roster, make some room, but I don't know. I've seen that, and I don't like that narrative.
The problem is the bottom guys on the roster, you're going to have to cut more than just one of them to make up for that money.
Yeah.
They messed up by not signing Saquon first and then just franchising Daniel Jones and figuring out a number. Because Daniel Jones is not a $45 million quarterback. He's
the numbers
good
gonna
for
keep going up.
fantasy. He's good for fantasy purposes because he rushes, but real life NFL quarterback, no.
Yeah,
I would like to see him with a real slew and complement of receivers before I say he's absolutely trash. Yeah, he's never had them, but what we have seen from what's been there hasn't been great anyway. So go ahead. Sorry, Brendan, to cut you off.
No, I think it's a terrible situation for running backs, and I don't know what they're going to do to figure this out. It sucks for us as fantasy players because now there's a potential that Josh Jacobs and Saquon hold out, and we're going into the season of it's a possibility, and we can't be mad at them because I think both deserve to get paid. I think they both deserve a good contract, and so it just sucks.
Yeah. So this has been brought up a lot. This is a lot of the narrative too. Cap hits on the last running back ones on the last 9 Super Bowl rosters, starting from 2014 going to 22, 940K, 890 or 589K, 978K, 1.2 million, 1.7 million, 1.2 million, 2 million, 1.4 million, 890K. Those are Stephen Ridley, CJ Anderson, LeGarrette Blount, Sony Michel, Damian Williams, Leonard Fournette, Cam Akers, Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah. That is 1, 2. That's 3 times it's been the Pats. One time was where'd CJ Anderson win it at?
The Broncos.
The Broncos, thank you. LeGarrette Blount won it with both
Eagles
and Patriots. Stephen Ridley won it with the Patriots. Damian Williams won it with
the Chiefs.
Thank you. Leonard Fournette won it with Tampa Bay. Cam Akers won it in LA, and Isaiah Pacheco won it with the Chiefs. The one common denominator from that of having cheap running backs is they have elite quarterback play.
Yep.
And they either have elite quarterback play and they have their running backs on rookie deals, or they have elite quarterback play and they have older over the hump veteran running backs on just take the money because I'm trying to get paid again deals.
Yeah. And that's just the narrative. That's what's the narrative is going to be. Unfortunately, though, for the Giants, it's like you rely heavily on Saquon, though, to do what you need to do for the offense.
It's like 70% of their offense.
Yeah. And so it is funny, though, for that narrative, too, because they pointed out, it was on the herd from Colin Coward pointed out that Dalvin Cook on the field versus Dalvin Cook off the field with Kirk Cousins, his QBR rises with him being off the field. Justin Herbert with Austin Eckler is actually worse with him off the field. It's these numbers. His QBR was a 10-point difference for Kirk. It was a 5 for Justin, and I forgot what other quarterback he had on there. But it's kind of crazy though when you see that. But it is what it is.
I don't know, man.
So I understand that there's a lot going behind this because I have capital on Saquon, and it hurts me in my soul. But at the same time, just pay the guy. I don't know. I'm a bad person to ask right now.
It's going to be real messed up if he plays this year and they turn around and franchise him again.
Whoa.
Oh, yikes. That's rough.
At that point in time, you might have to have a running back strike. And I mean everybody.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that right now, honestly. Like, there's a lot of people kind of pissed off.
I mean, to be fair, Christian McCaffrey's calling from his high horse.
Yeah, he's got paid.
So.
But he's even underpaid too from that definition because he had 1,800 scrimmage yards and he would be the 19th paid highest wide receiver from that standpoint.
No, I get it. I mean, I understand. I mean, these dudes run the ball, they block, they catch, they do all sorts of other.
They do everything.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, people just think they're a dime a dozen because they see our running back by committee and
they run with it.
Yeah, that works.
That Super Bowl statistic that you brought up, that one, that hits.
It's rough.
That one hits hard.
You can all thank Sean McVay for this, by the way, when he publicly said he will never pay a running back ever again.
After Todd Gurley?
Yeah, he made it very clear he'll never do that again. So,
to be fair, it's kind of his own fault because I knew he had arthritis in his knee and it wasn't going to last forever. So, what are you going to do? Anyways, you guys ready to do the great game of overvalued, undervalued, or just right?
I'm ready. You guys ready?
Let's run it.
All righty, boys.
Run it.
What kind of game is this?
It needs to be louder in the background. It needs to be louder.
We're going to run it. We'll dial in the soundboard, guys.
All right. So the first player we have is Cooper Kupp going at 104. So is he overvalued, undervalued, or just right?
Ray, you start it.
I'm automatically going to say overvalued at 104.
I am going to say he's just right. before he got injured last year and they shut him down for the rest of the year, he was already on target pace to beat his Triple Crown winning year before, or on pace, not target pace, but I mean on pace to beat the Triple Crown winning year before. Matt Stafford's fully healthy now too. After the end of last season, they didn't bring Cooper Kupp back just to let him get fully healthy, even though he was fully healthy before the year ended. Cooper Kupp has the potential to finish as the number one fantasy wide receiver.
All right, Ray. So why is he overvalued?
I would take more than 4 players before him.
Okay, so let me name the players that are going after him. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
So Tyreek Hill.
Yes, I would take him.
Okay. Stephon Diggs.
No.
Okay. Well, and then after that, CeeDee Lamb and then AJ Brown.
You're talking about receivers specifically.
Yes.
So Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler sometimes go before him as well.
Yes, I can tell you the exact draft order. My apologies.
Yeah.
So it goes CMC, which is typically 101, or you can see Justin Jefferson. Then you have Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, and then it's a mixture of Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Who else goes there? Bijan is at 8. I see AJ Brown, and then typically it's like the CD Stephon area, about 10, 11, 12 area.
So out of that list, I would take Kelce, I would take Bijan, and I would take Tyreek.
Before you take
Cooper Kupp. Yes.
Oh wow. All righty.
That's how I see it.
That's pretty bold in my opinion. I don't know. I think because Cooper Kupp last year was on pace to break his record that he put on the year before. You and your injuries, man, are just something else, let me tell you.
All right. Next on the docket,
we have Mr. Davante Adams. He's going at pick 14. So tell me, boys, is he overvalued, undervalued, or is he just right?
Does Jimmy G play? Does he play? And
I'm going in with the knowledge that he is going to be their week 1 and playing.
Then he's probably undervalued.
Okay.
Probably.
Why is this?
He did it with Brent Huntley. He did it with a bag of garbage at quarterback. I would have to think that Jimmy G has a little more than that in the tank. He can do it with anybody. He is a generational talent. But if Garoppolo isn't there, that really changes the way that I see things. I don't know. It gets me a little too scared to take him at the 14 there.
he's overvalued to me by about 5 picks.
Okay, and why is that, Aaron?
Because Ray says, he did it with Brent Huntley. Yes, he still continued to have some fantasy production. Was not near as much as when Aaron Rodgers was on the field before he got hurt that year. Okay. He did it with Derek Carr, who's a much better thrower of the ball and deep ball thrower. Exactly. Than Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, if even in New England, when Tom Brady was suspended and he got all this hype around him, it was the same as Shanahan. It was run the play action, get to my spot, throw my ball to the spot. The receiver's going to be there. It's not. Jimmy doesn't throw the ball deep. It's like he's allergic to throwing the ball deep. It's going to make him sick. So I personally think for that reason, Davante's 30 years old now. He's going to start to see a little bit of a decline. While yes, I do agree he's a generational talent, I do not believe in this offense. Because man, it's him or nobody. And they got rid of Waller, and now they have Austin Hooper, and who else did they sign?
Well, they didn't have Waller last year either.
That's fair, but
I would like to point out just to kind of put a cap on this here, this argument about it. We said the same thing about Davante last season, that he wasn't going to be this, this electric receiver, and that he was going to take a big downgrade from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. He was the receiver too last season. So just something to remember.
Yeah, that's fair, but he's not going to finish inside the top 5. His potential isn't to finish as a top 3 fantasy option anymore, and that's why I think he's overvalued. Because I do think that Amon-Ra could potentially make top 5. Garrett Wilson could make top 5. Chris Olave could make top 5. We've seen Jalen Waddle come close. We've seen Devonta Smith come close. T. Higgins, they could both go top 12s, like the two, him and Jamar Chase is what I mean. But I don't think he has the potential this year in that offense with that quarterback to be top 5. Yeah, he'll probably still finish top 10, but that upside that you're taking him at that 5-6 wide receiver off the board, I would rather take the potential for a 1, 2, or 3 finish.
Okay.
At that spot.
I'm in the same boat as Aaron. So he's going at pick. He's going to pick 15. My apologies, and I have him at pick 26 in my rankings. I think his days are just with the season alone, with Jimmy G not being a down the field thrower, because most of Devontae's passes were over 15 yards, and Jimmy G does not throw more than 15 yards. He throws about 7 yards if he's lucky. So for me, I'd rather have, like Aaron suggested, I'd rather have Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra. He stops right where Breece Hall is. I'd rather have him before Breece Hall. So that's where I'm at. And I'd rather have Mark Andrews. That's why Mark Andrews at 25. I'd rather have Mark Andrews before I have Devontae this season.
I understand in some of these rankings too that they're taking in the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. I'm not taking any one of those guys in the second round, so I would take him above the quarterbacks, but that's my own personal preference. But if you could get Devontae at, I would say around, let me look. If Devontae would fall and all the guys we talked about, if he would fall to like the 2-9, 2-8, 2-9 spot, I'd be willing to take him there. I'd be willing to take him like Brennan said, over Breece Hall, over Tony Pollard, over Ramondre, over ETN, things like that. So,
fair enough.
Who we got next?
On to our next subject. We're speaking of, since Aaron doesn't love quarterbacks, we have Patrick Mahomes. He's going to pick 14. So is he overvalued, undervalued, or just right? Ray,
go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead, Aaron.
This is the 2-2, is where this is.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I just said it, but I think Patrick Mahomes, for what he is and who he is as far as real life football and fantasy football, this is probably just right. But I'm not taking him. I can't bring myself to do it in the second round, beginning of the second round. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is just right because once again, he's for sure finishing as one of the top 3 quarterbacks outside of injury. So I feel like it's just right if you can get him to fall. If your home league drafts, if he falls down to the 2, like I said, 2-8's kind of that sweet spot. I might start thinking about it there, but I'm probably not ever going to take Patrick Mahomes at his price. He'll never be on any one of my rosters unless it's dynasty. Right?
So I'm assuming you're not going to take any of the top 3. So Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, or Patrick Mahomes. You're going to wait.
Yep.
Fair enough.
If, like Aaron alluded to it, if they fell to the 3rd, one of them fell to the 3rd, and I'm at the top of the 3rd, I'm getting real itchy about it. I'm thinking about it, really thinking about it, because I think that Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd, your roster's setting up really nice, and he could win you a league right there. But is he going to fall in the 3rd? Probably not. Not going to happen. Somebody's going to take him. Josh Allen ain't going to happen. So like a Joe Burrow. So like if you just grabbed him in the 3rd, Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd, I'm liking that a lot. But like I was saying right before these technical difficulties we're having, if you got Joe Burrow in the 4th, I kind of like that a little more. Maybe I've seen him fall down to the 5th is in certain mocks too. That's kind of crazy. So that's how I'm feeling about it.
I agree. Because the problem with Patrick is he's going to get his numbers, but what has got people championships and just dominating weeks is you get Travis Kelce at the back of the 1st, Patrick Mahomes back of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th. So you get to put 2 picks between them. Now you're having to take Travis Kelce if he falls to the back, and then turn right around and take Patrick Mahomes again.
I don't know if I have the huevos to build a roster.
I do not.
In redraft. It's tough. It's really tough for me to do that. I think he's slightly overvalued. I think so. In any of my big money leagues that I play in, I'll have a hard time seeing him going at pick 14. I think he will go right where you guys suggest, right at like 210, 211. I think that's where I'll start to see the quarterbacks go. And I'm not even sure it's Patrick Mahomes. So I can see Jalen Hurts going before him, but that's the consensus what they have. So,
yep.
Alrighty, boys. My next pick here, we have Aaron suggested this one. Keenan Allen. Is he overvalued, undervalued, or is he just right? Ray?
Pick 35.
Pick 35, that's overvalued to me. You can get more value than that.
The back of the 3rd?
In the back of the 3rd, yes.
Overvalued.
I would want Keenan to fall to like probably the back of the 4th to really think that's value.
So I brought this up because yesterday I got off work and I came home. The wife and kids weren't home yet. So I started doing mock drafts. I did about 10 of them. And in those roughly 10 mock drafts I did, I would see him go anywhere from like the 3-8 down to like the 5-7. So, as Ray said, at the back of the 3rd, that's probably a little bit overvalued for me too. I I would much rather have a shot on Calvin Ridley over him. I'd much have DK Metcalf over him. I'd much rather have a shot at Amari Cooper over him. Keenan Allen's that safe play, right? I've redraft specifically, Brendan. I'm looking for that boom, boom. Like, let's get it. Let's break the bank on this. Whereas Keenan Allen, he's going to get.
He's going to get those 7 receptions. Yeah,
exactly.
He's a typical he's a nice
7 receptions, 75 plus yards, like
maybe a touchdown. Yeah,
when he plays,
so,
yes. When he plays,
that is true. When he plays, so I also agree with Ray. I think he's overvalued at 35. But as Ray said, if you get him at the back of the 4th, beginning of the 5th, that's pretty good value on him right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're taking him at the back of the 3rd, what you're doing is you're taking your receiver 2 most likely. And do you feel comfortable having Keenan Allen as your receiver 2?
No,
I feel comfortable with Keenan Allen being my wide receiver 2.
Would you feel more comfortable as him as your flex?
Oh yeah, but that would be a shot in the dark in that situation. I'd hope for that, but I can't imagine that'd be the case. So,
just a thought, just thoughts. You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that, boys. So my next player I have is DeAndre Hopkins. He's going at pick 48. So tell me, boys, is he overvalued, undervalued, or just right?
You know how I feel about DeAndre Hopkins right now. I'm so far off of him, it's not even funny. Ben said that I think that this is his Julio Jones year. And he went to the Titans of all teams. Tannehill has proven every year that he can provide maybe a top 12 receiver, and that's a young AJ Brown, but not somebody that's going to be winning you a league. And I don't think that DeAndre Hopkins is that. He would be overvalued for me unless he fell to like the 7th or 8th round.
I agree. I do think he's overvalued. The name weight carries a lot. I do think he is overvalued, especially going to Tennessee. Yes, we've seen Tannehill be super efficient with AJ Brown, but that's really the only time that we've seen it. Other than that, he's been mediocre. Yes, DeAndre is going to get his targets, but once again, that Tennessee offense, their primary objective, Mike Vrabel, is to run the ball, set the tone of the game, play good defense. So I do think he's overvalued. I would take him. Ray said 7-8. I would take him probably back 3rd of the 6th round. Start looking at him. That'd be where I would want to get him at.
All right, I'm going to throw in a new one here for you boys. It's going to be Alexander Mattison at pick 61. So is he overvalued, undervalued, or is he just right?
Just right for me right now. He's just right for me right now.
Yeah, just right. I don't think he's going to stay there. Just right. And this has a lot to do with how your roster's set up at this point. And is he going to be your RB1, in a 0 RB? Did you fall that far? Did you have the?
I would be taking a running back in the 5th round, like J.K. Dobbins or Miles Sanders, Cam Akers.
Yeah, like
that's probably after James Conner and then probably Alexander Madison. That's where I would be looking.
I have him undervalued. I think he is better than Dameon Pierce. I think he's better than Miles Sanders. I think he's better than DeAndre Swift. I think where he can start to make the argument for him is right where it's like the Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones territory. I think he's right behind those guys. So I think getting him a pick 61 is a steal because if he's the 3-down back in Minnesota's offense, I think it's a very good play for you.
It's fair.
Alrighty, boys. I got one more for you. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
We're going to do a wild card here. So Kadarius Toney at pick 89. Is he overvalued, undervalued, or is he just right?
We haven't seen that much of Kadarius Toney, but he wasn't fully healthy last year either. You said pick what? 81?
89.
89. Oh, man. I'm going to say... Geez, that's what, the 9th round?
Yes. 8th round.
8th round?
Yes.
My math is, I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
Yep. 8th round, 9th round. Somewhere right around that cusp.
Yeah.
Just right. I'm going to take a shot on Kadarius Toney in the 8th.
Okay. All right. Ray, what are you thinking over there? You got a big old smile.
This is Ray's new hotness here.
So I think that Kadarius Toney's just right now for me. I feel real comfortable with taking him that late. That's kind of undervalued. And I feel like this time next season, when we're doing these same shows and trying to figure out content to put out there, we're gonna be like, why did we have Kadarius Toney falling so far? How did he fall that far? I feel like that's what he's going to be. He's like that one guy. You're like, it's so obvious and so clear that he's a stud. And we're like, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Until it's right in your face hole. And you're like, oh, wait, I do believe it. He's that dude. It happened. No way.
It happened.
Yeah, undervalued for me. Undervalued.
I think he is undervalued as well. I think they're a rookie wide receiver. Jordan Addison's going ahead of him, which is crazy to me.
Nope, not taking that.
Well, he's got elite speed now, so
he does have elite speed.
I had to throw the dad joke in there. I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, he had a felony speeding ticket. He was in a Lambo going 140 in a 55 zone. So I don't think suspension's coming for him, but it's a pretty yikes situation all around.
They should suspend him. They should.
Yeah, I don't know, but that is all I have on my list, boys. Do you guys have anything else for the viewers?
Let us know down in the bottom what you guys think about if they're overvalued, undervalued, or just right. Let us know if you have any players that you want to know if we think they're overvalued, undervalued, or just right in that sweet spot, you know? But I have nothing else. As always, it's been fun. As always, after this is over, we're going to talk trash to Ray for some problems of technicals. But as always, guys, please leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to go check us out on Twitter, on the TikTok, because that's where we are. And as always, please go to Fantasy Football Advice Forum and go get your question answered by real people just like us. But until next time, see you.